The morning I discovered my husband had sold our house began like any other Tuesday in March. I woke up at 5:47 a.m., 13 minutes before my alarm, the way I always do. The bedroom was still dark, and beside me, Raymond's side of the bed was empty but still warm. I could hear the shower running in the master bathroom, the familiar rhythm of our 20-year routine. Before we continue, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments which state or country you're listening from. I always love knowing where my tea time family is tuning in from. Now settle in, grab your favorite cup of tea, and let Auntie Dee tell you a story that will have you checking your own property records before the night is over. My name is Lorraine Mitchell, and I am 54 years old. For 2 decades, I believed I had built a life with a man who loved me, who respected me, who saw me as his partner in all things. I was wrong about everything except the years. Those 20 years were real. Everything else was smoke and mirrors. I should tell you about our house first, because that house was more than walls and a roof to me. It was a 1920s craftsman bungalow in the Kirkwood neighborhood of Atlanta, with original hardwood floors that creaked in all the right places, and a wraparound porch where I spent countless summer evenings watching the fireflies dance. We bought it in 2004, back when Kirkwood was still up and coming, back when young couples like us could afford a piece of history. I remember the day we closed on that house. Raymond lifted me over the threshold like we were newlyweds, even though we'd already been married for 2 years by then. He said, "This is where we're going to grow old together, Lorraine. This is our forever home." Forever, it turned out, had an expiration date. That Tuesday morning, I went downstairs to start the coffee while Raymond finished his shower. Our routine was sacred, choreographed by years of repetition. I would make the coffee, he would make the eggs. I would pack his lunch, he would kiss my forehead and tell me to have a good day. We moved around each other like dancers who had long ago memorized the steps. But that morning, something was different. Raymond's phone was on the kitchen counter and it buzzed with a notification. I wasn't the type of wife who checked her husband's phone. In 20 years, I had never once felt the need. But the screen lit up with a preview of the message, and I saw a name I hadn't thought about in years. Vanessa. The message preview read, "The closing is confirmed for Thursday. I can't believe we're finally doing this. Our son is going to be so happy." I stood there, coffee pot in hand, reading those words over and over until they stopped making sense. Vanessa was Raymond's ex-wife, the woman he had been married to for 3 years before we met. They had a son together, Derek, who was now 32 years old and lived in Charlotte. I had always been cordial with Vanessa at Derek's graduations and birthday parties. I had never considered her a threat. What closing? What were they doing? And why would Derek be happy about it? I heard Raymond's footsteps on the stairs, and something in me, some survival instinct I didn't know I possessed, made me set down the coffee pot and step away from his phone. I arranged my face into its usual morning expression and waited. "Morning, baby," Raymond said, walking into the kitchen in his work clothes. He was still handsome at 57, with salt and pepper hair and the kind of smile that had made me fall in love with him in a hotel bar in Midtown all those years ago. "Morning," I replied. My voice sounded normal. I was surprised by how normal it sounded. He picked up his phone, glanced at the screen, and slipped it into his pocket without a flicker of reaction. Then he walked over to the stove and started cracking eggs into a pan, just like every other morning. "You sleep okay?" he asked. "Fine," I said. "You?" Like a rock. We moved through our routine, but I was watching him now with new eyes. Every gesture, every word, every casual glance felt loaded with meaning I had never noticed before. When he kissed my forehead and told me to have a good day, I wondered how many lies were hidden in that simple act. After he left for work, I sat at the kitchen table for a long time, staring at the walls of the house I thought was mine. Then I did something I had never done before in my marriage. I started digging. The Fulton County property records are public, Anyone can access them online. I had never had a reason to look before, but that Tuesday morning, I typed in our address with trembling fingers and waited for the results to load. What I found made the floor drop out from under me. Our house, the Craftsman bungalow I had loved and tended for 20 years, was no longer in both our names. According to the records, Raymond had refinanced the mortgage 18 months ago, removing my name from the deed in the process. The document showed his signature and a notarized statement claiming I had consented to the change. I had never signed anything. I had never consented to anything. My signature on that document was a forgery. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the second property record I found when I searched Raymond's name alone. 6 months ago, he had purchased a 4-bedroom house in Alpharetta, a new construction in one of those gated communities with a clubhouse and a pool. The co-owner listed on the deed was Vanessa Elaine Crawford, his ex-wife. The purchase price was $687,000. The down payment had come from the equity in our Kirkwood home, the equity we had built together over 20 years of mortgage payments, of repairs, of improvements I had planned and overseen myself. I sat at my computer, and I did not cry. I want you to understand that. I did not cry. I did not scream. I did not throw anything. I simply sat there, very still, and felt something inside me shift and harden, like molten metal cooling into steel. 20 years. 20 years of marriage, of partnership, of believing I knew the man who slept beside me every night. And all of it had been leading to this moment, to this betrayal so complete and so calculated that it took my breath away. I thought about calling my sister, Paulette. I thought about calling my best friend, Denise. I thought about driving to Raymond's office and confronting him in front of all his co-workers. But I did none of those things. Instead, I called a lawyer. Attorney Claudia Freeman had an office in Buckhead, all glass and chrome and expensive modern art. She was a black woman in her early 60s with silver locks and reading glasses perched on her nose, and she had a reputation for being absolutely ruthless in divorce proceedings. I had found her name on a legal forum where women shared resources for situations exactly like mine. "Mrs. Mitchell," she said, after I had laid out everything I had discovered. "What your husband has done is not just a betrayal, it's a crime. Forging your signature on a legal document, transferring marital property without your consent, these are felonies in the state of Georgia." I nodded. I had suspected as much, but hearing it confirmed made it real. "What are my options?" I asked. Claudia leaned back in her chair and studied me with sharp, assessing eyes. "You have several. We can pursue criminal charges for the forgery. We can file for divorce and seek to recover your share of the marital assets, including the equity he used to purchase that house in Alpharetta. We can also potentially go after the ex-wife if she was complicit in the fraud. And the house? Our house in Kirkwood. That's more complicated. He's refinanced it, which means there's a new lender involved. Unwinding that transaction will take time and legal action. But the forgery gives us leverage. No legitimate lender wants to be associated with fraud." I thought about the wraparound porch, the creaking hardwood floors, the garden I had planted and tended for 2 decades. I thought about Raymond lifting me over the threshold, promising me forever. "I want it all back," I said quietly. "Everything he took from me. I want it all back." Claudia smiled, and there was something fierce in that smile, something that made me feel, for the first time since that morning, like I wasn't alone. "Then let's get to work," she said. The next few weeks were a masterclass in patience and deception. Claudia advised me to act normal, to give Raymond no indication that I knew anything. We needed time to gather evidence, to build an airtight case to ensure that when we struck, he would have no way to escape the consequences. So I played my part. I made the coffee every morning. I packed his lunch. I kissed him goodbye and told him to have a good day. And every night, when he fell asleep beside me, I lay awake in the darkness and planned. I learned things about my husband that I had never known. I learned that he had been in contact with Vanessa for at least 3 years, that their co-parenting relationship had evolved into something far more intimate. I learned that Derek, their son, had been struggling financially, and that Raymond and Vanessa had decided to buy a house where Derek and his family could live rent-free. A noble goal, perhaps, if it hadn't been funded by stealing from me. I also learned that Vanessa had never remarried after her divorce from Raymond. She had spent 30 years waiting, apparently, for him to come back to her. And now, with their son as the excuse and my money as the means, she was finally getting what she wanted. The closing Vanessa had mentioned in her text message happened on a Thursday, just as she had said. Raymond told me he had a business trip to Savannah. Instead, he drove to Alpharetta and signed the final papers on a house that should have been impossible for him to buy. I know this because I hired a private investigator to follow him. The photographs Marcus Chen delivered to me showed Raymond and Vanessa standing in front of their new house, arms around each other, smiling like newlyweds. There was a sold sign in the yard and champagne glasses in their hands. In one photo, Raymond was kissing Vanessa's cheek while she laughed. I looked at those photographs for a long time. I studied my husband's face, searching for some sign of guilt or conflict. I found none. He looked happy, genuinely happy, in a way I realized I hadn't seen in years. That was when I finally cried. I gave myself one night to grieve, one night to mourn the marriage I thought I had, the future I thought we were building, the man I thought I knew. I drank an entire bottle of wine, and I cried until my eyes were swollen and my throat was raw, and I let myself feel every ounce of the pain and betrayal and rage that I had been holding at bay. And then, the next morning, I washed my face, made my coffee, and got back to work. Claudia had been busy. She had obtained copies of the forged documents and had them analysed by a handwriting expert who confirmed that the signature was not mine. She had subpoenaed bank records showing the flow of money from our home equity to the Alpharetta purchase. She had even found a witness, a paralegal at the title company, who remembered Raymond coming in alone to sign the refinancing papers, despite the documents claiming I had been present. "We have him," Claudia told me during one of our meetings. "The evidence is overwhelming. The question now is how you want to proceed." I had thought about this constantly. I had imagined confronting Raymond, watching his face as he realized his scheme had unraveled. I had imagined the satisfaction of seeing him arrested, of watching him lose everything the way he had tried to make me lose everything. But I had also thought about something else, something that had been nagging at me since I first discovered the truth. "I want to know why," I said. "Before we do anything else, I need to understand why he did this." Claudia raised an eyebrow. "Does it matter?" "It matters to me," she nodded slowly. "Then I suggest you ask him." I chose a Sunday afternoon for the confrontation. Raymond was in his study watching a basketball game when I walked in and closed the door behind me. "We need to talk," I said. He looked up, surprised by my tone. "What's wrong?" I sat down across from him and placed a folder on the coffee table between us. Inside were copies of everything: the forged documents, the property records, the photographs of him and Vanessa at their new house. "I know about Alpharetta," I said. "I know about Vanessa. I know about all of it." The color drained from Raymond's face. He stared at the folder like it was a snake coiled to strike. "Lorraine," he started. "Don't." My voice was sharp enough to cut glass. "Don't lie to me. Don't make excuses. Don't insult my intelligence. I have spent the last month gathering evidence of what you've done, and I have enough to send you to prison. So before I decide what to do with that evidence, you are going to tell me the truth. All of it. Starting with why." For a long moment, Raymond said nothing. He sat there, frozen, his eyes darting between my face and the folder. I watched him calculate his options and realize he had none. And then, finally, he started to talk. The story Raymond told me was not the story I expected. He said it started 5 years ago, when Derek's marriage fell apart and he lost his job in the same month. Derek had called his father, desperate, and Raymond had helped him financially without telling me. A few thousand here, a few thousand there, nothing I would notice. But Derek's problems didn't go away. He couldn't find steady work. His ex-wife was demanding child support he couldn't pay. He was drowning, and Raymond kept throwing him lifelines that only delayed the inevitable. Vanessa and I started talking more, Raymond said, his voice hollow, about Derek, about how to help him. And somewhere along the way, it became about more than just Derek. You fell back in love with her, I said flatly. He flinched. I don't know if I ever stopped loving her. We were so young when we got married, and when it fell apart, I always wondered what if. And then there you were, and you were wonderful, Lorraine. You were everything I thought I wanted, but Vanessa was always there in the back of my mind. I felt sick. 20 years of marriage, and I had been competing with a ghost the entire time. So you decided to steal from me to buy a house for your real family, I said. It wasn't like that. He leaned forward, desperate to make me understand. Derek needed a stable place to live. His kids needed a home. Vanessa and I thought if we could give them that, maybe Derek could finally get back on his feet. And the house in Kirkwood, it's worth so much more now than when we bought it. I thought I could use the equity, help Derek, and you would never have to know. And the forgery? Removing my name from the deed? He looked away. The lender wouldn't approve the refinance with both our names. They said your credit score was too low. That was a lie. My credit score was excellent. I had checked. So, you forged my signature and committed fraud because it was convenient, I said. I was going to tell you eventually. I was going to explain everything and make it right. When? After you moved in with Vanessa? After you divorced me and left me with nothing? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. The truth was written all over his face. I stood up and gathered the folder. I've heard enough. Lorraine, please. He grabbed my arm. We can work this out. I'll sell the Alpharetta house. I'll put your name back on the deed. Whatever you want, I'll do it. Just please don't destroy our marriage over this. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. This man I had loved for 20 years. This stranger who had betrayed me in ways I was still discovering. Our marriage? I repeated. Raymond, you destroyed our marriage the moment you chose her over me. I'm just cleaning up the wreckage. I pulled my arm free and walked out of the room. The divorce proceedings began the following week. Raymond hired his own attorney, a man named Gerald Hutchins, who had a reputation for aggressive tactics. But Claudia was better. She was smarter, more prepared, and she had something Gerald didn't have. She had the truth. The first hearing was about temporary orders, establishing who would live where and how assets would be handled while the divorce was pending. Raymond's attorney tried to argue that I should be the one to leave the Kirkwood house since Raymond had been paying the mortgage. Claudia stood up and calmly presented the evidence of forgery and fraud. She showed the judge the forged signature, the handwriting analysis, the testimony from the title company paralegal. She explained how Raymond had illegally removed my name from the deed and used marital assets to purchase property with another woman. The judge, a stern woman named Patricia Okonkwo, looked at Raymond with undisguised contempt. "Mr. Mitchell," she said, "you are hereby ordered to vacate the marital residence within 72 hours. You are prohibited from selling, transferring, or encumbering any marital assets pending the resolution of this divorce. And I am referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for potential criminal prosecution." Raymond's face went grey. Gerald Hutchins tried to object, but Judge Okonkwo cut him off. "Save it for trial, counselor. Your client has made his bed. Now he gets to lie in it. The next few months were a whirlwind of legal proceedings, depositions, and negotiations. Raymond tried everything to minimize the damage. He claimed the forgery was a misunderstanding. He claimed Vanessa had pressured him into the Alpharetta purchase. He even tried to claim that I had verbally consented to the refinancing and simply forgotten. None of it worked. The criminal case moved forward alongside the divorce. Raymond was charged with forgery, fraud, and theft by conversion. His attorney negotiated a plea deal that kept him out of prison, but he was sentenced to 5 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, and full restitution of the assets he had stolen. The divorce settlement was even more satisfying. The judge awarded me the Kirkwood house outright, free and clear of any claims by Raymond. I received 60% of our retirement accounts, all of my personal property, and a significant portion of Raymond's pension. As for the Alpharetta house, the one Raymond and Vanessa had bought with my money, the judge ordered it sold and the proceeds divided. Vanessa tried to fight this, claiming she was an innocent party who had no knowledge of the fraud, but the evidence showed otherwise. Text messages between her and Raymond made it clear she knew exactly where the money was coming from. In the end, Vanessa got nothing. Derek and his family had to find somewhere else to live. And Raymond, the man who had promised me forever, was left with a criminal record, a destroyed reputation, and the knowledge that his scheme had cost him everything. I wish I could tell you that I felt triumphant, that watching Raymond lose everything filled me with satisfaction and joy. But the truth is more complicated than that. I felt relief. I felt vindication. I felt a profound sense of justice that the legal system had worked the way it was supposed to work. But I also felt grief, deep and abiding grief, for the life I thought I had, for the man I thought I knew, for the future I thought we were building together. 20 years is a long time. You can't just erase 20 years, no matter how badly they ended. The day the divorce was finalized, I sat on the wraparound porch of my Kirkwood house and watched the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. The fireflies were just starting to emerge, blinking their tiny lights in the gathering dusk. I thought about the woman I had been when Raymond and I first bought this house, young, hopeful, so certain that love would be enough to carry us through anything. I thought about all the years I had spent being a good wife, a supportive partner, the foundation on which Raymond built his comfortable life. And I thought about the woman I had become, stronger, wiser, unafraid to fight for what was mine. The house was quiet around me. For the first time in 20 years, I was alone. And instead of feeling empty, I felt free. It has been 2 years since the divorce was finalized. 2 years of rebuilding, of rediscovering who I am outside of a marriage that had defined me for so long. I still live in the Kirkwood house. I repainted the walls, replaced the old furniture with pieces I chose myself, planted new flowers in the garden. Every change I made was a declaration of independence, a statement that this house was mine now, truly mine, and I would make it into whatever I wanted it to be. I also went back to work. Before I married Raymond, I had been a project manager at a marketing firm. I had given up my career to support his, to be available whenever he needed me, to make his life easier in 1,000 small ways he never acknowledged. Now, at 56, I started over. It wasn't easy. The job market had changed dramatically in 20 years, and I had to learn new skills, new technologies, new ways of working. But I discovered something surprising about myself. I was good at this. I was organized, detail-oriented, and I had a talent for managing complex projects that I had never fully utilized. Within a year, I was promoted to senior project manager. Within 2 years, I was leading a team of 12 people and earning more money than I ever had in my life. My sister Paulette says I'm a different person now. She says I walk taller, speak more confidently, take up more space in the world. I think she's right. For 20 years, I made myself smaller to fit into the life Raymond wanted. Now, I'm finally expanding into the life I want. I hear things about Raymond sometimes, through the grapevine of mutual acquaintances who don't know when to keep their mouths shut. He and Vanessa are still together, living in a rental apartment in Marietta. His career never recovered from the scandal, and he's working as a consultant now, taking whatever jobs he can find. Derek, their son, eventually got back on his feet. He found a job, reconciled with his ex-wife, and is doing well by all accounts. I'm glad for him. None of this was his fault, and I never wished him any harm. As for Vanessa, I try not to think about her at all. She got what she wanted in a way. She got Raymond, but she got him diminished, humiliated, stripped of everything that had made him attractive in the first place. I wonder sometimes if she's happy with what she won. I suspect she's not. Last month, I did something I never thought I would do. I went on a date. His name is William, and he's a retired professor of African American Studies at Emory. We met at a book club meeting, arguing about the merits of Colson Whitehead's latest novel. He asked me to coffee, and I surprised myself by saying yes. It's early days yet. I'm not sure where it's going or if I even want it to go anywhere. But sitting across from William in a little cafe in Decatur, laughing about something silly, I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. I felt hopeful. Not hopeful about William specifically, though he seems like a good man. Hopeful about myself. Hopeful about my capacity to heal, to grow, to open my heart again after everything it's been through. Raymond tried to take everything from me, my home, my security, my sense of self. He thought I was just a foundation, something to build on and then discard when it was no longer useful. But foundations are strong, foundations endure, and this foundation decided to build something new on top of itself, something beautiful and lasting, and entirely her own. If you're listening to this story and you see yourself in it, if you're living with a man who treats you like you're invisible, who makes decisions without consulting you, who sees your contributions as his entitlements, I want you to know something. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. You are not defined by the roles someone else has assigned to you. It took me 20 years to learn that lesson. I hope it doesn't take you as long. Check your property records. Know your rights. Build relationships with people who see your worth. And never ever be afraid to fight for what's yours. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can truly count on is yourself. And that person, I promise you, is stronger than you know. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this story touched you, please hit that like button and leave a comment telling me which part resonated with you the most. Subscribe to Tea Time with Auntie D so you don't miss our next story. And remember, no matter what storms you're facing, there's always a way through. You just have to be brave enough to take the first step. Until next time, this is Auntie D, sending you love, strength, and a whole lot of tea. Did you enjoy the story? Which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.